let's see if my new flat lap works. Will you look at that? Holy moly. That beautiful or what? That's coming out nice. Well, hello Rockhounds, Lapidary lovers, Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. So what's going on today? Well, okay, this is Mike from the future breaking into the beginning of this build to let you know that at the end of this video, we're going to announce the winner of my 3,000 subscriber contest giveaway. So stay tuned to the end of the video to see if you won the prize that I'm giving away in my contest. Don't tune out too early or you might be a loser. Today we've got a flat lap disc up on my bench here. It's 60 grit disc from China, as you can see. So in a previous video I did on making your own inexpensive lapidary equipment, which I'll put a link to in the upper right, I told you how I made a flat lap using my drill press back in my workshop here. And that works okay, but I've been wanting something better. So today I think we're going to start building something better. Well, heck, we might even get it all built in this video. So what's my idea? Well, I need to spin these discs fairly fast. I need to be able to change the discs pretty easy. I don't want the arbor sticking down from above like I've got with the drill press. So how am I going to do it? Well, I am one of those people who cannot pass a yard sale or garage sale without stopping and looking. And sometimes I find the most amazing and most useful stuff cheap at these sales. Let me show you what I found. What is it, you might be asking yourself? It's a potter's wheel. It's a small potter's wheel. It's got a foot pedal here for controlling the speed, or a lever, depending on whether it's on the floor or on the table. It's 10 inches across, which by coincidence is the same size as the discs I've been using on my drill press. Does it work, you ask? Well, let me put it up on the bench and we'll plug it in and see if we can get it spinning. So yeah, it's a cute little potter's wheel. I rolled up on the sale, got out and looking at it, and they said, never been used. And you know what? It doesn't look like it's ever been used. I think somebody bought it or was bought for somebody, but they never really got into pottery. There was some clay and other stuff that came with it, but I just threw that out. I'm not a potter. I'm into rocks, okay? So, anyway, does it work? Well, I've got it plugged in. You turn it on. Look at that. Yeah, at the highest speed, it goes pretty fast. Yeah. And look, it's got a splash guard and everything already. So I can spray water on here to keep things cool, and it'll just wind up in this tray. Isn't that convenient? So, it's just the right size for these flat lap discs. Okay, so that's great. But to make this work, I've got to find a way to attach them to this wheel, preferably easily attach and detach them from this wheel, so I can go, start out with, say, the 60 grit disc here and go to finer discs, say 220, 600, whatever. So how am I gonna do that? Well, this disc is aluminum. These discs are steel. What if I attach magnets to the aluminum plate here? Then I could just drop the steel discs on, do my thing. When it comes time, just peel this disc off, put a different one on. So I think that's what I'm going to do. At least going to give it a try. So how am I going to attach magnets to this, you ask? Well, I've got an idea in that department too. Is it going to work? I'm not sure, but we're going to give it a try. I've got some magnet tape here. It's magnetic, it sticks really well to these discs, pretty strong, and it's adhesive backed. So I'm thinking if I cover this wheel with strips of this adhesive backed magnet tape, then I should be able to just drop different wheels on and peel them off as necessary. And we'll see how well this works. It may work great, it may not work all that well, but I'm going to give it a try. And it's going to be like the world's cheapest and easiest flat lap, I think. So how much did I pay for this doohickey? Well, they wanted $50 for it, and they were really reluctant to go down in price. You know me; I'm always looking for a bargain. I'm a negotiator. So it was brand new, and it does work. So, and they probably paid a lot more than $50 for it. So I bundled a couple of things with it and still gave them $50. So they were happy, I was happy. So I got a couple other things with it too that I was interested in at their sale. Everybody left happy. Okay, I think step one should probably be to clean this disc as well as I can. Just going to use some Windex on it. Make sure there's no grease or oil or anything else on here that might prevent the tape from adhering to it. Sure it's nice and clean. It's got some really rough ridges on it, which I guess are to get the clay to adhere to it. But now those rough ridges are full of little bits of paper towel, so let me clean them out with a brush. And I guess that's pretty clean. Okay, so let me start sticking some tape on there, some magnetic tape. They say this particular brand can be cut with scissors. We'll see. So, right about there. I've got a knife here that I can trim it with too. I'm a little worried. It wants to bend up like that. Hopefully, the adhesive is good enough to keep it down. So we'll find out. So let me stick a piece right across the center here, and then I'll start filling it in above and below center. Yeah, okay. That's going to stick. All right, so let me cut a few more pieces. I hope I have enough tape to fully cover this disc. If not, well, I'll make sure I have enough coverage, I think, for it to adhere to the grinding disc. I recut the tape and redistribute it, so I got pretty good coverage. What I think I'll do is I'll just put tape on as best I can here and then come back with a knife and maybe trim it round. That's probably the best thing to do, I suspect. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to be too anal about it here. Yeah, I'm going to have to trim that side. Okay, so let me get to work here, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done, and we'll see whether it actually works like I hope it will when it's done. Okay, that was actually pretty easy and not too time consuming. So the magnetic tape seems to be holding on to the aluminum wheel pretty well. The real question is, though, will the disc stick to the magnetic tape well enough to use? Oh, yeah, wow. Don't get your fingers between it and the magnets. That's got some pull to it. So the real question is here now, can I get it back off? My fingernails under it? Yeah, I can peel it up if I get my fingernails under it. Maybe save my fingernails and maybe use a screwdriver. Oh yeah, that's a little better. Okay. Wow, that disc, that is on there. Let me tell you. Let's fire this thing up. Not perfectly centered, but it's not going to fly off. That's for sure. See if I can get it back off again easy enough. My screwdriver. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's all working. I think for my next trick, I think I'm going to go around the disc here and just sort of trim off the excess magnetic material all the way around and make it round. And that will make it easier to put the disc on centered. Yet this stuff here is pretty much centered. Sorry about the kids across the street with the noisy go-kart. They are a little bit noisy at times. All right, so I'm just going to trim this up, and we'll see how it looks after that. All right, there we go. That looks a little bit better. You stick the disc back on here. Let me see if I can center it up a little better now that, yeah. Hey, that's pretty darn good. Look at that. That's running pretty true. Nice. Now, I need a couple of things before I can start with this. I need a water supply to keep this wet, for one thing. But you know what? I'm going to work on that. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to let this sit with a heavy weight on it for a while, just to ensure that all of that tape adheres really well to the aluminum disc down here. So I don't have to worry about it coming off when I try to pry the disc off, because those magnets are really strong. Stronger than I was expecting. So I'll put a link to that magnetic tape down in the description of the video. I think it came in a 25-foot roll. I've used most of it. But wow, okay, it works pretty darn well. So we'll let this just sit here maybe overnight while I cobble together a water supply to at least test this thing. I may have something more permanent in the future, but I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along so far. Okay, it's the next day, and I think we probably got this tape flattened into submission down here. It's nice and flat against the aluminum table. So I think we're good. Let's see how this thing, that is nice and smooth. I like that. That is nice and super smooth. And I'd say that's about as fast as I'd want it to go too. Right there, as fast as this thing will go. I think this is reversible too. Yeah. Not that it really matters which direction it's going, I don't think. But yeah. Okay. So now all I need is a water supply. And well, we're going to try something. I have the water supply. I've stolen it from my redneck lap on my table saw. So I'll give you a quick look at how this works. Well, there's definitely room for improvement with this water supply, but for a quick test, I think it's going to work. I've got this little bucket with a tap in it, and it's hanging from way up here at the top of the ceiling of the carport I'm working under. And I got a hose coming down. There's a valve in it where I can control the flow rate. And then down here at the end, we're going to drip water onto the disc. I probably need to try and get it closer to the center of the disc. I will work on that. And then we'll give this thing a shot. See if I can grind some rocks flat with it. I'll bet I can. So let me work on the water supply and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. I got the water hitting pretty much the center of the disc. How did I do that, you ask? Well, clever boy that I am, I moved this whole thing underneath the center of the hose. All right. So it looks like it's working good. The splash tray is catching the water. We got a pretty good flow of water here. I've got a really pretty Moroccan agate that I cut in another video. I'll put a link to that video in the upper right when I was cutting the agates. Check that out if you like. But let's see if my new flat lap works. Oh, we're getting rock dust on the splash guard over there. Yeah, we're grinding it down. We're going to make it flat here, so that's great. Yeah, this 60 grit's doing a number on it. It's getting this saw kerf off the side over here real quick, making it flat. Great. Just exactly like I was hoping it would. Oh yeah, that's flattening out really quick. I think this works at least as well as my drill press redneck lap does. And I don't have an arbor in the way in the middle. That's great. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's not going to take much more and I'll be ready to go to finer grit. So let me finish up with the 60 and we will switch over to a finer grit, although when it's wet, this is already looking amazing. Wow. But yeah, I got a couple more saw marks to grind out and then we'll switch over to a finer grit. So let me get this done and we'll do that. Okay, that looks really, really good. That is nice and flat. It's covered with 60 grit scratches, but at least it's nice and flat. Boy, I can see deep into the chalcedony there while it's wet. All right, so now comes the moment of truth. How easy is it really to change out the discs? Well, let me go find a finer disc and we'll give it a shot. Okay, I got my screwdriver here. Let's pry up one edge of it. There we go. Off with the 60 and on with the 240. All right. It's not quite as well centered as the 60, but I'm not sure that matters. But hey, it makes it easier to get the disc off if it's not so perfectly centered. Yeah. Oh, that's so much better. All right, let me get the water going again, and we'll grind on this agate some more. Too much water. There we go. That looks a little better. All right. A little more speed, I think, and a little quieter than the 60 grit, huh? Yeah. Smoother, too. I think we're grinding out those 60 grit scratches on there quick. This is feeling like it's just skating across the surface. And this is a practically new disc, too, so it's got some abrasiveness to it. Let's see what we got going on here. Ooh, that is getting so pretty. So pretty. Let me look at it here and see. We still got to do a little more grinding. I thought that wasn't going to be enough. We weren't on here for very long. So yeah, let's do a little more grinding. But I'll tell you what, a lot of those 60 grit scratches are gone already. That is sweet. This is working as well as I hoped it would. Yeah. Yeah. That is a cool pattern in there too, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm going to run this on the 240 grit wheel here for a little while. We'll take a look at it and maybe hit it with finer grit yet. I can't remember if I have a 10-inch finer wheel or not. It might be sub-diameter, but that's okay. I think this is working. All right, I think I'm about done with the 240 grit wheel here. This thing is looking really nice. And I'll tell you what, this thing has a lot of torque to it. I can't slow the wheel down no matter how much pressure I put on this rock. And I was noticing that even with the 60 grit wheel, that this thing has a lot of torque to it, which is nice. Oh, that is so pretty. Yeah, I'll have to give you a close-up look at that with the macro on my phone because, especially wet, that is just so amazing. After only 240 grit, wow. Love these Moroccan agates. Will you look at that? Holy moly. That beautiful or what? That's coming out nice. After only 240 grit, yeah, it's wet, but wow. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it hasn't taken too long on this thing either to get it this flat. 60 to 240. Let me see if I've got a finer grit wheel. Okay, let's try one more wheel. I don't think I have anything finer than the 600 grit, but I do have a brand spanking new 600 grit wheel. So we shall give it a try with the 600 grit. But I'm not going to try and totally polish this agate on the flat lap because I'm working on another project, another piece of lapidary equipment. Something's catching. That's probably leaving scratches too. I don't know what that is. But, and maybe this, oh, what's going on? It's a brand spanking new wheel too. Got a lump right there. Well, cheap Chinese wheels. We'll see what it does. I probably need to get some better quality wheels, especially in the finer grits. But it's not really that important because my buddy Jim found an arbor for me, and I am in the process of putting it together so that I can use it for face polishing and cabbing. Let me try a little more water and see if that helps. More water definitely helps. It may have been running a little dry. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, now it's really smooth and quiet. I'm hoping that we are getting an even smoother finish on it. Although it's not really important that I go beyond 600 grit or probably not even beyond 240 grit on this thing because I'm working on an arbor. In a previous video, which I'll put a link to in the upper right, you can check it out if you like, I got an arbor from my buddy Jim when I was out in Arizona this last February. He found it in an estate sale, bought it for me, and I bought it from him. And I'm in the process of putting it together. And it's going to have expanding drum wheels on it and all the different belts on it that I might need to take a rock from rough to polished right there on the arbor. But I'm thinking this flat lap will save me a little bit of work at the arbor if I flatten stuff out to at least 240 and maybe a little better first. How does that look? That's still got some 240 scratches in it that need to be worked out, but it is working. It is working. If I push too hard, it starts getting grabby. I think I get rid of the little bit of water that's underneath it, acting like a support system. It's probably skating above the grit on the water. I probably do need to press a little bit to get rid of those 240 scratches. So yeah, I will do that. And run this thing on this wheel for a little while longer, and then we'll see how it looks again. Yeah, this is going so well, I've decided to polish up the other half of the agate, or at least flatten it out to 240 grit. I think I will wait until I get the arbor going to try and actually take these too much further. But yeah, this is working really good. So I got the other half of this really pretty Moroccan agate on here. I've already gone through 60 grit, and now we're on to the 240 grit. Oh yeah, nice, very nice. I'll give you a close-up look at that. Well, there they are. Check that out. Wow, look at the colors and the patterns on these. So I've taken this one to 240. This one's had a little bit of 600 on it, but it's not quite got all the 240 scratches out of it. But yeah, this is working great. I'm really happy with this new flat lap I've put together. And it only cost me, $50 for this doohickey. And, a few bucks each for the lap discs. So that's not too bad. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way this thing worked out. This is, I saw this thing at that garage sale and I thought, I could do something with this. I can make something out of it besides throwing pottery on it. Yeah, I could do something with it. So that's great. If you see one of these at the garage sale, heck, maybe buy one new if you can get a deal on it and turn it into a flat lap. It seems to be working great. But I don't think I'll take these any further than 240, maybe 600 out here on this. I'll just prep my rocks on this, get them as flat as I can, maybe just to 240. And then once I get my arbor together, I'll use it with its expanding drum to take it all the way to polish. So that's my plan. This is just going to save me a lot of time at the arbor, I think, flattening stuff out, because it works great at that. So don't go yet, because Mike from the future, I think, broke in earlier and said that there was going to be an announcement about some sort of contest winner. Hey, if you entered the contest, you might want to hang around and see if you're a winner. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this setup. If you guys are happy, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see future videos where you'll see this, the arbor, a bunch of other stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye. All right, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to pick the winner in my 3,000 subscribers giveaway sweepstakes here. You can win this nice little jar of polished rocks. So here we go. Let's see, I need to put in the video link into the old YouTube random comment picker here. So there's the video link. Filter duplicate users. Yeah. Number of winners 1. Let's spin the wheel of names this time. And let's see, I've got to do the CAPTCHA here. So that's 9. That's pretty simple math. What do we got? Unique comments 33. Okay. Let's come down here and we shall pick ourselves a winner. Here we go. I can't quite read that. Is it? Well, let me scroll down. Danielle Karzuski. I hope I'm not butchering that. Sorry if I am. But congratulations. You are the winner. And I'm going to put my email address in here. And you've got 30 days to get in touch with me via email and tell me where I can ship you your jar of rocks to. Okay, 30 days. If I don't hear from you within 30 days, going to forfeit it. But also, it would be good if you contacted me as soon as possible, because I'm going to be out of town for a while in not too long, so you might have a little bit of a wait if you don't get in touch with me quickly. But anyway, congratulations, Danielle. Thanks for entering the contest. Thanks for being a loyal viewer. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks to everybody else for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.